Morning, and it's Bank Holiday Monday morning, and I thought I'd just do a quick video on the GS, which is now on the ramp, ready to be lifted. I've got my frame lift as well to get the front wheel off the floor, which is where I'm going to be starting. For probably about a week now, I've been putting penetrating oil on different nuts and bolts and things, on the headers, and anything else that looked a bit rusty that I might be taking off or having a look at. And today's the day to start working on it, but I just thought I'd give a brief overview of what I'll be doing, and then you'll have some idea of what's going to pop up in certain videos. That's why all the cloths are on here, to stop the penetrating oil contaminating the brakes too much. But it will be brake cleanup, front wheel bearings, speedo drive. I get a twitching, the needle twitches on the speedo drive, and people have said it's either the drive itself or the cable, so I've got a replacement drive and cable to go on. I've also got a new nut coming and axle. I don't know whether I'll need the axle, but that should be a castellated nut, and then a cotter pin goes through the end, so I've bought the original for that. I've got new disc bolts to go in. I don't know whether I've actually got the right ones or not, but these are wrong. It should be hexagon bolt heads, and then you've got locking ring here that folds over onto the nut, the bolt, to stop it undoing. So these aren't the right ones, these Allen head bolts, so I'm going to change them. The forks want to clean up, they'll be coming right out and be cleaned up. The forks themselves aren't leaking and feel good, so I won't be dismantling them. As I say, the front brakes will be coming off and getting a good clean. If they look worse than they should be, then they'll be stripped. What else have we got? We've got the, where are you? We've got the rev counter drive. Again, it twitches, and people have said it's either the drive or the cable. I've got a new drive, well, I've got a second-hand drive and a new cable for it, so that's got to be changed. Framework wants a bit of rubbing down, and either tough black or hammerite on there. What else? Towards the end, probably take all these exhausts off, and I'm looking at a Delcovic straight end exhaust, which will be 4-into-1. This got battered in the accident. It's flattened under there. There's starting of rusting and all manner of bits. It got clumped back here when I had my accident. That's a bit dented up. It's pushed in as well. The link pipe looks as though it might be cracked. And to get the second-hand parts for this side is pretty much as much money as getting a new exhaust, a new complete system. The beauty of the new system would be that it is 4-into-1, so there's only be a pipe the other side, which means you can actually pull out your rear axle bolt without having to take the exhaust off. So I think that is, in some respects, an upgrade. What else have we got? Probably rebuild the starter motor, new bushes and seals and everything in there. It runs on a bit when you've started, and I don't know whether that's because it needs rebuilding or what, but that's getting rebuilt. Pretty much nothing up here. I know I've got a slight leak here, but I don't know whether a lot of this is actually coming round from the rev counter, because that shouldn't be that loose, I don't think. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of weepage there. Oh, where are you? There. Quite a bit of weepage there. Quite a bit of blackness. So the O-ring's probably gone on that as well. But as I say, I've got a replacement for that, which might be, with it coming down the engine and then being forced round, it might be some of the reason for this, because my compression's pretty good on the motor itself, so that's okay. The side cover needs the gasket doing again. I've got oil leaking out of that. This was after the last run I gave it. When I parked it up, it dripped a load of oil out, so I think it's the gasket. Whether I pinched it when I put it in last time or what, I don't know. But yes, that's on order. There you go. That's on order. And I'll have a better look at this casing as well, because that was the one I broke in the accident and I bought a replacement. Whether this is slightly warped, I don't know. Perhaps that's why it's not sealing properly. But yeah, definitely got to check that out. That is very wet. So yes, drop the oil out. Probably do oil and filter while I'm at it, even though they're not that old. Got the new decal to go on the side there. Got to clean up the shocks, whether I'll recover them or not. I'm not looking to do a full restoration mint build or anything like that. I just want it clean, showing some age, because it is an old bike. I want it sort of authentic, he says, putting a Delcovic exhaust on it. Delcovic, that's easy for you to say. So yeah, I'm not looking at showroom condition and bringing everything back to super shiny or anything. Foot peg, I bent it most of the way back, but need to bend it a bit more. I've upgraded to MAP gas now, which will heat that a lot easier than the, I think it was butane I was using before. So I'll get an easier bend on that and get that to the right shape. The stand, I don't know whether that's the right shape, because it doesn't go up and hit anything. I think that might be the right shape, but my knob's missing out the side, and I don't know whether I'm going to be able to weld, because this looks like a cast rather than just a lump of steel. But yes, without the knob on it, you can't get your foot in there to pull the bloody thing down, so you have to sort of get off and handle it to pull it down. You might have seen that in the last video. So the knob on that needs doing. Just a general tidy up on some of this bodywork where it's been sitting for a while. What else have we got? I've got a new headlamp coming, because this has got a hole in. Well, it did have, I put sellotape on it, but that's holed. The thing is, the one I've bought is quite fat, so I've got to extend these brackets by, I think it's about 5 centimeters, bring that out so I can get the bulbous arse end of the new headlamp in there. So that's got to come off and do that. As I say, the rev counter and speedo cables are going to be replaced. While this is all down, I've got to have a look at the ignition, because when you're starting it, sometimes it's just on that threshold and it decides it's going to go out. There's a definite dodgy connection in there somewhere, so I've got to strip that and have a look at that. Got new handlebars coming. I don't like how tight this electrics is with these handlebars. These handlebars are spot on. I've said before, it's almost like sitting on the Royal Enfield Interceptor. It's so sat up and comfortable, but it's got a nice bit of girth on this, whereas the Interceptor's a bit thin for me. That was the one thing I didn't like about it. Handled a lot better than this beast. But yes, as I say, I don't like the way cables are so tight on this. So I've ordered some handlebars that are half the height. The ones that originally were on it were pretty much flat, and I had to lean too far forward to ride the bike, so I didn't particularly like that. So yeah, new handlebars coming, they'll be about half the height. The switch gear, I don't know whether I'm going to try and find some original stuff. I think this is the right unit for this bike. That's side lights, headlight, low and high beam, flash, indicators and horn. That seems the genuine article. I don't know where this one's off of. This is the lights, is a light switch again, which isn't wired in, so that's pointless. The run stop works and the starter works, but the unit itself doesn't look true, so maybe that'll get changed. Whether I can find one cheap enough, because the stuff for the GS is really expensive, and it's a lot of searching to find yourself a bargain. The front axle that I've bought, the cheapest I could find was about 20 quid, or you're going to America where you're talking 30 or 40 quid for an axle. And I didn't want to buy the whole axle because I possibly don't need it. It probably is just this nut, and there's a hole through the axle to do a cotter pin, and I just need the castellated nut. But I found one, put in a bid of 99p, got it for 99p plus the postage, which whacked it up to 7 quid for the whole axle. It's also got one of the spacers and the castellated nut, so I thought that's not too bad, being that everywhere else you was at least talking 20 or 30 quid. General clean up on, get the oxidisation off the aluminium in places. Dent in the tank, not sure what I'm going to do with that. Might have to see someone about that. I don't know whether I'll be able to get anything in the fuel cap to hit that out, or some sort of suction plunger thing to suck that out, or just leave it in there as battle scars. I don't know, I am a bit of an animal. What else we got? General cleanup. I've got the decal to go on the side here. That might actually need a new one. Not sure. It's got a bit of a dent in there, but I'll give that a clean up and see about putting the decal on that. That should be alright. What else have we got? Just a general clean up, auto-sol and a toothbrush, get the worst of the grime off. As you can see, it's all, there's oxidisation everywhere. That needs a good clean up. What else? Back brake off. This was binding up a little bit last time I took the bike out, so that definitely needs looking at. That might be a full strip down. And then again, the shock absorber, whether this can be saved to any extent, I don't know. This is far worse than the other side, so I'll have to see how well the auto-sol gets hold of that and whether it will clean it up at all. Oh, rear bearings, got to check them. As I say, I bought this bike quite blind. It runs fine, starts, stops as it should for an old bike, but I just want to strip everything down now and have a look at it, see what's going on. But that's about it. That's where I'm at. I don't know how long it's going to take, and I always miss my bikes as soon as they're starting to be worked on. But yes, that's that's the plan. Bit of a tidy up and get a few jobs done, and see how it is afterwards. In fact, take the wing mirrors off because I haven't really got the head height to lift it up. Well, that's about it really. Oh, dodgy indicator. The wiring on this one's a bit dodgy. I think it's just a loose earth or something. Whereas this one, this side, the whole thing's a little bit loose. So that needs doing. I think that is about it. But that should keep me going for a little while. So there you go, there's the plan. That's what I'm going to be up to. A few little projects, a few little videos coming out. Hopefully little. I don't want to carry on making massively long videos. So yeah, little videos on what I'm doing on my GS. If you're interested, stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Hit the notifications so you know when new exciting content is coming out. And yeah, comment down below. Let us know. Let us know your thoughts. Good, bad or indifferent. I don't mind. And I'll crack on with this. Ta-ra.